Ain't that a trip?
and click on,
Go to your name.
or go to participants, click on me and give me the permission to record.
Okay, participants. More. I got to make you a host.
Make me a co-host.
Yeah, that's crazy. That. Uh. Meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
Right.
I already did it.
Okay, you're good. So I'm in. I'm recording. So I'm going to copy this link and go over to Facebook to tell her.
Good morning, everyone. This is your girl, Marki Lemons Rao, real estate keynote speaker, international best-selling author. Today, we're going to discuss and teach you how to pick a niche.
Well, we're just going to just have a conversation, because the goal is that, because my recent blog post was how to, I got to think of what was my title, how to create video like a pro. And Marki is actually teaching it today to Women's Council, and we don't want to double dip until after the 2:00 event.
Exactly.
So go ahead, Marki, while I go share this all over Facebook.
So let me come back for 1 second. This week is the National Association of Realtors legislative meetings. Normally, we would be in Washington, D.C. over the duration of the week. Carrie is a federal political coordinator. I'm a state legislative contact. That means that we're there fighting on behalf of private home ownerships, on behalf of the National Association of Realtors. With that being said, our meetings this week are being held online. Carrie and I both teach classes for the Women's Council of Realtors. Today, the Women's Council of Realtors, I'm doing an afternoon presentation for them. So I decided I wasn't going to do video twice in the same day. I could talk about something else, but I'm not going to work for them today and then publicly teach video. Now, next week, you could come back and get it, because you're going to forget it, right? And so I said, well, Carrie, let's switch up the subject. So what we decided we would talk about today is how to select a niche and to tell our stories on how we got started. Because I'm clear, I'll be 50 this year. I was not born or raised with technology. I was a restaurateur. How am I over here doing what I do today? Because what I do today did not exist when I was in undergrad or grad school. This was not even a freaking possibility, right? And so how do you shift? How do you switch up your life based on current trends? Normally, we've been going live at 4:45 p.m. We decided that we would switch it up because we have NAR legislative meetings. And today is my oldest son's 24th birthday. So I have to prepare dinner for the family.
And you know because it's the NAR legislative meetings and Women's Council, really 4:45 is hard because we've got other events. We've got you and I have a book event on Thursday. So there's all these other things that we put in our calendars, and it just doesn't seem to work out well. So
you know what I realized today, Carrie? I have some stashes that no one in my house knows about. I went through my book bag. So I have exactly 18 Clorox wipes that I'm going to cherish the utilization of during this trying time. And because I believe in being clean from the rooter to the tutor, I also have my flushable wipes so that you always feel clean and fresh. So as I was cleaning out my book bag that I probably won't use for another 2 months at least, I decided to bring all these additional, I guess I'm going to put it over here in the little pile of, I might let you use them in the house.
Yeah, we had a stash because of the conventions. Like, we didn't realize how much hand sanitizer we had hidden.
Yeah, I thank God for hand sanitizers. Let's see. I have one on this bag that was given to me by Bright MLS. So I had just put that on my book bag. So I have a few stashes of things that are sitting around because we get so much in promotional products. And I work for ASI, the Advertising Specialty Institute. So here is a hand spray. So I have some little things sitting around,
stuff.
not a lot.
You've got stuff like I do. So
yeah.
So Marki kind of told you we're going to talk about how we kind of ended up where we are. But let me tell you, back in the 80s when I started working, because we had the you could be in high school and you can have a job. I was Hero. I was in the Hero group, home economics, because Marky, I was going to be a fashion designer, and I think you should have been an actress. Were you a cheerleader? Dad, where were you? Yeah.
The pom pom girl, cheerleader, Marshall Lindsay dance troupe, and a full figure teen professional model.
Right. So I was a cheerleader, captain a couple of years. I actually, Marky and I both are good swimmers. I was on the swim team, and Hero was home economics. And so I was learning how to cook, although I can cook. People eat my food, but I'm a really good baker. And I learned how to sew. So that was what I was going to do. And I went to Iowa State to sew. And that's not what happened. So I got pregnant at 19, came home, went to Triton College. And I remember my first technology class was Lotus 1-2-3. And it was awful. It was DOS. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know how people do this. There was a guy next to me. I didn't get the whole concept of a spreadsheet. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around it because it was DOS. So to move forward, I actually got a job based on my identical twin sister skills at a company called Kassane Business Systems. I couldn't type in high school, Mark. I could sew anything. One day I'm gonna post all the prom dresses I made in high school. So I had a real hidden talent. Progress. So I have changed. Progress. So I worked at the company called Kassane Business Systems. I learned how to type before I actually got the job at Triton College, and I ended up being the assistant to the CEO of the company. Now, all of this will make sense in a moment, because you'll understand that me being an admin has made everything I do extremely easy. And then I ended up working so Kassane Business Systems used to sell computers, they used to sell typewriters, they used to sell monitors, they used to sell projectors, to a company that I ended up working for, McDonald's Corporation, Boston Chicken at the time, all these big companies, and they used to buy from NEC Technologies. And I was like, why don't I just go work for NEC Technologies? So I ended up there, and to make a long story really short, I ended up working as the demo equipment manager. So I actually managed their projectors. I managed like the plasma TVs, and I got to travel to Canada. I got to travel to Georgia. And we might have had something on the East Coast. So I was the person that got pushed into technology almost by mistake because of my twin sister skills. So in the early 90s, I was using technology. I understand parts. I understand what goes in a computer. Then I ended up going back to nonprofit, which I say nonprofit because if I say the church, people are like, huh? I ended up editing a television show. So I used to edit on an Avid. I know how to use After Effects. I know how to use all this stuff. So technology comes really easy. And one day, Marky, when we can really talk, a lot of people don't understand. You know, you talked about Miracle Morning. I talk about how I like to do positive confessions and in the morning. But Marky, what people don't know, and I don't often share it, is back when I accepted Christ, and there was a guy by the name of Bob Harrison from the Hawaii Christian Leadership Academy, and he used to travel and speak, and they used to call him Dr. Success. And he would sit and he would talk about how if you want to make it, you got to get up earlier, you got to learn something new, and you need to confess that you can do it. Marky, I used to sit at home and I would say, technology comes easy. This is easy. And so I to this day, I am without a doubt clear that is why technology comes easy to me. And because I used to edit television on a Mac, I'm quick at it. I mean, like, and what people don't know is I'll let people just go for it. But what it might take someone 3 hours to learn, it'll probably take me a half an hour or an hour. So
I'm the total opposite. Well, first of all, I avoided information systems courses like the plague. I didn't like none of that DOS, none of that. I have always been a marketer, always marketing and sales. And I really never realized my sales capabilities until I decided that I wanted to take a sabbatical while a loan originator and go into pharmaceutical sales. And at the moment that I started writing my resume for pharmaceutical sales, I realized that I was phenomenal in sales, but I always looked at it as a marketing job. So they had this little red book, How to Get a Job in Farm Sales, at the Chicago Public Library. I went and got the book. I rewrote my resume. I then created my first brag book. I now have two of them, because in farm sales, you should have a brag book when you go in to do your interviews, just so you can kind of get an idea of what this book looks like. This is brag book number one that I actually put in the Bold Training 3-ring binder from Keller Williams. I used to be a partner in the Keller Williams franchise. And then this is brag book number two. So I've created this much in bragisms, based on a free book that was at the Chicago Library System. So
what was the book?
It was the book. It was a little red book. It was a whole handbook section, how to get a job in. And this one was how to get a job in farm sales. And at the time, like 2000, let me see. I went to Pfizer. I got hired at Pfizer. I got hired at Pfizer on Valentine's Day, 2002. So to make a long story, and I stayed 18 months. To make a long story short, I updated my resume where I pivoted all of the marketing to sales, because I'd had so many sales successes. Like Jules was stocking, we did a contract to stock our meat rubs, our barbecue sauces. I had been in sales my whole life. The snowball business, the concession business, the city contracts, the blues, the jazz, the gospel fest. We did it all. And so when I sat there, I'm like, I've been in sales my entire life. Never, ever told anyone I was in sales. But let me tell you how cold I was. I was so cold. I got a job on my first interview at Pfizer Pharmaceuticals in the Ulta division, selling Zoloft, Aricept, Celebrex, Baxtra, and we launched Railpex, which is a triptan. Anyway.
But this is what I heard. I heard that you're a figured out person, and if you want it bad enough, how bad do you want it? Everybody watching, how bad do you want it?
Let me say this. I was so burned out. And at the time, I wasn't married. I wanted medical benefits. I wanted a salary. I wanted a company car. And by the time I looked at my overall package at Pfizer back in 2001, it was over $100,000 package. But what I'm including in that package is the base salary. And actually, I earned the most in my division class because I had been in sales my entire life and I had an advanced degree. Then the company car, my account, my American Express, I could spend $45,000 per calendar year on entertainment, travel related expenses, gas, all of that.
Man.
So you do the salary,
what year was
bonuses. This was 2001. And I quit. I quit pharmaceutical sales because I absolutely hated pharmaceutical sales. It's a phenomenal job. And I had to pray on that. Like, I'm like, God, I'm an unwedded mother. I got a 6-figure job with a company car, a gas card. I'm whining and dining. Yeah, $45,000. It wasn't my money, but $45,000. I get to wine and dine doctors. I'm at Umbria, Everest.
They probably
all these, like, we doing $1,000 dinners. That's probably why the farm industry has changed. But doctors, to me, they don't know how to show gratitude. And it was depressing. And it's always, because they have so many people pulling at them, it's kind of like, it's always what's in it for them. And I'm like, I wanted to tell them doctors, kiss my ass, basically.
Let me ask you this.
My entire ass and take your monkey ass on, because on any other occasion, I wouldn't even deal with you. That's how I'm thinking.
Do you think there's a little bit of a change today?
No, I think they're the same freaking way. I give them
COVID.
No, I believe that same arrogance still exists. And I'm not going to say all doctors are that way, but when you're calling on rheumatology, orthopedic surgeons, it's a little bit of arrogance there. And it wasn't my tribe. It wasn't where I was supposed to be. They're not my clique. And so I had to pray, like, who leaves a 6-figure job? Like, what 30-year-old who's not married, right, leaves a 6-figure job? And what my mother told me, she said, Marki, I told everybody I was going to get a job in farm sales. I started in November. I said I'd get a job in farm sales by February the 1st. I got hired February the 14th. My mother said, you went and got a job at the #1 pharmaceutical company in the world with technically no sales experience in 4 months. She says, I'm pretty sure if you wanted to come back and get a job, you could. And that's what she said. And so I had a talk with my soror who also worked, my pledge mother actually, because she's been in farm sales probably 30 years, 20 to 30 years now. And I'm like, I hate this job. And she was like, quit. And I quit. And I've never looked back. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to get in trouble because I talked about doctors poorly. But I hated farm sales. I did not like calling on doctors. I didn't like the anticipation that I owe you something because I don't feel as though I owe anyone anything. And that's kind of how it was. And I understand why they're that way. I just think it's a different personality type that I get to deal with. Thank God for education. Thank
They
the best thing my grandfather and my mother did for me was to educate me. It was the one thing I didn't want because I did not want to go to college. I was
didn't.
going to be a
I
hairstylist.
wanted to go. I
I
told you what
didn't.
happened. I
I
went
didn't.
over to Iowa State. Well, I was going to be a fashion designer at Iowa State because they had a whole. They have a whole school for fashion designing in Iowa, by the way. So that's a different conversation for one day. But I remember sitting in this room of 200 people looking at a screen, and I'll never forget what I was looking at. It was corsets. Now you just get the what is it called? What do we buy?
Thanks.
Thanks. And I just remember, and then I got pregnant and I came home and I was like, so I was at Sears working. And one day I woke up and I was like, what made me go to college was number one, my mother has 2 degrees. And number two, I got tired of making minimum wage.
Yeah, I got to college, to Central State University. I went to the first college that accepted me because remember, I wasn't going to college and I was not a good student. I started to become a good student in grad school. I am the great socializer.
Were you a good student in high school? Let's talk.
Absolutely.
Let's
No,
go back. Let's go back.
absolutely not. No, I'm a socializer.
I was not
So,
a good student in high school, but I'll
oh
tell you,
yeah.
my favorite class was PE and sewing and home economics. And if my sister is watching, I know if we could talk about, I just,
I didn't have a favorite class. Oh, speech. If
oh,
I could, I
wait,
love,
oh, wait. Do you know today, if you had made me stand up in front of a group, I'd have fainted. Like this
oh yeah,
here is
nah.
all. So
That was my favorite, but I did not like high school. First of all, I was forced to go to a high school I didn't want to go to.
I loved high
And
school.
I told my mother I would look, I'm just going to go. That's essentially what I did. So my mother forced me to go to Luther South. I wanted to go to Kenwood or Whitney Young. And I spent most of my time at Hales Franciscan, which was an all boys school to the point the fathers asked me, did my mama want to start paying tuition there? They was like, as much as you hear your mama, forget Luther South, your mama. And they knew me on a first name basis. Marki, your mama should be sending her checks over here since you're here every day after school anyway.
Western boys. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I had several boyfriends that attended Hales. So
But your ability to talk and your ability to like speech has put you in a position today to do what you do.
I think actually I receive great joy from speaking because I am the child who received a check mark in failure to exercise self-control every quarter of school. I am the child whose grandmother made her come in the house in the middle of the day in the summertime to take a breather break. She said I needed to sit in absolute silence for 10 to 15 minutes.
How does that work?
Because I had talked too much. She'd make me come and she'd sit on her couch. It had like the plastic covers. I had to sit in the chair right to her right. She had her ashtray. She would smoke her cigarette. She would look. I'd start talking. She said, shh, breather break, Marki, breather break. And she would make me leave my game because I was born and raised in the ghetto. And a lot of people had a lot of siblings. I had no siblings. And I was in a household. I was the only household on the block where it was 5 adults and 1 child. So it was my grandparents, 4 adults, I'm sorry, my mother, my great grandmother, but my father's family, I saw them every single day. They just lived farther south. And everybody was gainfully employed. And so I received all of the attention. And my grandmother, she worked part-time at AMP, but when she was at home, she was sitting with that door open through the screen door. She'd make me leave my game on the front porch because I was bossy too. Marky, come on in. It's time to take a breather break, right? But you want me to leave my clue game? They don't know how to play my game. Bring your ass in this house and sit down, right? And I'd have to come. I'd sit there. She'd cross her legs, and my grandmother was light, bright, damn near white, and she had this beautiful curly hair, and she'd cross her legs with her little pump on. You're gonna sit your ass there and be still for a minute. And what's funny is I knew my grandmother cursed. None of my friends knew because my grandmother was, you know how women were that day. They was like, hey, Miss Dear, hi dear. Hello, darling. How you doing today, sugar? Because she was a cashier at AMP, so she could sweet talk you to death, right? You know, you talk too much, Marky. God, who could talk that much? Girl, you gave me a headache. Right? I would be so mad. I'd look at that clock when them 15 minutes was up, I was out the door. I was just like, that wasn't 15 minutes. Yes, it was. See you later.
Oh,
So,
Lord.
I think that my grandmother and my mother are smiling down from heaven saying, she sure taught us something. And I can hear my grandmother right now telling my mother, Dean, we should have cultivated that. Girl, we never knew that child would be a paid speaker. We should have had her in more speech classes. I can see them talking.
Ain't no way.
Right now. It's like an epiphany has hit them up in heaven. Girl.
Like, you know how you always say, you don't want to speak about anything you don't know. But what I'm clear about is that if someone put you on a panel, you would have no problem. If the topic ain't what you need, you're just gonna change the topic.
You damn look, I did that because I'm changing the topic now. When I pledged Delta Sigma Theta, and I had not read what I needed to read, and they asked about international affairs, right? And Delta Sigma Theta's participation on a global level. I didn't read that. So I said, yes, I clearly understand. As a foreign exchange student, I lived in Reykjavik, Iceland. Girl, I took them on a journey through Iceland. By the time they got done, they was like, man, she's really look, I made line out of a couple of hundred girls. I was 27 of them, and I was one of the youngest, and most people had already come out the previous year. So you're right. I can find that one subject, and by the time we get through talking, you'll be like, oh yeah. I might not have answered the question. I might not have.
You sound like a politician. Oh, yeah, that's right. You could probably run for office.
Oh, we already been there, done that.
Right.
Yeah, no. My husband would not make a good political candidate husband.
It's all, that's all right. I think you'd be all right. But anyway, so Mark and I so for those of you just joining or watching the replay, we switched the title intentionally. We kind of gave you some history on how we kind of got to where we are. But I'll tell you, Marky, when I first remember when we were in the MLS, we were in a brainstorming session on social media and how we could bring social media to real estate agents. And I was like, oh man, this is Marky. And that's how you and I met. And I remember we talked about, not there, because I actually drove you to your CE class, but we met and you kind of fixed my class. But what I quickly learned when I started teaching, because I was teaching for the MLS at the time, and again, you couldn't have paid me to talk in front of nobody. And even in high school, not cheerleading, I was the boss. It was good. I was making up the routine. It was a group of us, right? I was good at that. If you put me in a group, I'm really good at it, and I'm quick. I can come up with a cheer. I can make up a cheer. Even today, right? Look, Marky and I, like, we doing our cheer. We didn't have spear fingers, but anyway. So I would say when I mastered the topic, I have no problem talking about it. Like today, you put me on a panel, I'll sit up there with the best of the best, the Zillows or anybody. Sit me down. Let's talk money. Let's talk data.
What's funny to me is we are often that person on the panel
that people don't expect.
That they don't expect. We don't look like them. We don't sound like them. And I'm okay with that. And here what's funny, because we believe in our information so much, we have no problems saying publicly, we do not agree.
No problem.
You was just at a panel, and I had some top producers, people selling over $100 million a year in real estate, and I'm like, yeah, no, don't agree with that, because I've had my own set of experiences, and what I've come to realize, nothing in life is black or white. It's numerous shades of gray. Because Chicago is, by all accounts, the most segregated city in the world, racially and economically. What goes on the South Side is totally different than what goes on in the rest of Chicago or the world. And Carrie's out in West Chicago, and we live in two different worlds. We're
But my
friends,
world is,
but they're different.
but and
And
I grew up in Broadview, which is not Chicago. I mean, I didn't grow up in Chicago. I used to drive to Chicago to, to the point. We all came out to the point on the South Side. But I am out here in the city I live in. We're pretty diverse.
yeah, that's not my world.
But
I have to
I will
drive a
tell you,
mile.
if we, even though we're diverse, we have houses that could be at 2 million down to $150,000. So there, we do have a pocket of segregation. I would call when you get downtown, not quite downtown West Chicago, but there's a pocket where incomes are lower, and we have a lot of apartment complexes. But when I say diverse, we have people from the Middle East. We have a lot of people here from the Philippines. We have a lot of I'll say African Americans, Black folks, like, and my
I live in a
husband goes
black
everywhere.
community.
Right.
I live in a black community with maybe less than 1% other.
And do you see other walking down the street ever?
Oh yeah, I have several of my new neighbors don't are diverse. They don't look like African Americans. Let's go that way. And I warmly welcome them. I want more diversity because historically, let me say this, a lot of people in my community don't feel that way. Historically, when we bring in diversity, we bring in change and more amenities to the community, which makes the price points go up, which then makes it not affordable for the people who traditionally lived here. um, I just did a CMA. We did the CMA the other day, and I think my house is worth a good $600,000. Well, in order to buy a $600,000 house, you got to have an average household income of $200,000 or more per year. Let's go 250 would be really a good point. Everybody cannot afford to live here, especially in a city that's segregated, and I'm on the black side of town. So I'm kind of giving you,
Yeah, but
uh,
what people don't know is that that's not how you started in that house. It's not like you went out and dropped $600,000.
oh no, I bought a foreclosure and we got a fabulous deal. And what we owed 190, about 190,000 on our house. And so I have equity in my house, which is why I can't afford to move. So a lot of people would take the money and then they would go to a higher price point. But then you're using the money to offset the principal, interest, taxes, and insurance every single month. So that's not something that I desire to do. And so I'm going to stay right here and I'm going to live with my newfound neighbors. But let me say this, I definitely believe that Stephen and I fit in to our community by every measure. However, we're the people who probably have the lowest debt to income ratio overall.
Especially how you, yeah. And we bought a short sale. I lied. My husband bought a short sale. One day I woke up and he bought a new house. But well, we could have a whole lot of conversation late nights with Marki and Carrie.
We're gonna do one. But here's the thing: we're gonna do late nights, and we got to get some fly pajamas or something. Uh,
Right.
and we have to do it after the alcohol has worn off.
Yeah, we learned our lesson with that one.
Yeah, that soon as you get off work, drinker, I don't do well. Well, first of all, because I don't drink like that, so I don't do well with drinkers. Go that route. When I talk to people, I like I like there to be a cohesive understanding. So when people's minds are altered, I don't do well in conversation with them.
Right. Because you don't know what's going to come out. Because then I have to remind you later. That's
What
why when
I'm
I
talking for?
travel, right. When I travel and I don't, I'm not a heavy drinker anyway, but I'll have a glass of wine with you, but I learned wine is probably not a good idea because I'm sick in the morning. But if I have a glass with you, I'm paying it. I like to be fully aware. I want to be fully aware of my surroundings. So if Mark isn't there, definitely not having two glasses. But I watch, and then the next day they're like, Carrie, such and such said I was like this. I was like, you were. Let's talk. like people don't realize what they do with alcohol. My sister had me read a book called Career Builder.
Mina's on the line.
Yeah, so Career Builder by the guy that was the CEO of the John Hancock.
Uh-huh.
And there is an article, there's a chapter that talks about when you're in business and going out and drinking. And every real estate agent probably needs to read it, because we get into a party and a whole new side comes out.
Yes. And people take advantage of us as a result. I'm not going to mention any companies, but they love to do happy hours because they understand that realtors say and do things that allow the door to be open the following day to set appointments. Genius thinking. And so I tend not to drink. Now, if I'm at an event and the CEO or the people who hired me are having a cocktail, I am going to be social and I am going to have a cocktail in hand. You're not going to see me drink the whole cocktail,
Right.
because I am an employee. There's a certain level of expectation that comes with that. And it used to be to the point that I wouldn't even go out and network, but I read a book. tomorrow's book club. But let me say this: I was doing it before I read the book.
That was the name, Tomorrow's Book Club. Look, Marki.
No.
I was like,
the name of the book is The Memo, which just validated the fact that I need to go and network. Because I'm used to coming from the south side of Chicago. What I'm used to doing is being safe. So I've never had anyone in my hotel room on any of these 100 nights a year that I spend on the road because of security issues. So I act like I'm on the south side of Chicago, hanging out on the corner of 59th and State Street, just to kind of give people an idea. And I take all of those precautions. And so when I like to get to my hotel room, be safe, you will see me tomorrow for work. But then I'm missing out on the networking opportunity. At the moment that I start networking, I think my presentations are better because I already am getting the temperament and the inside scoop about the organization and the people that I'm going to work for. So what I'm telling people is never skip the networking opportunities of the event you're going to speak for, even if safety is your number one job. I used to do it because I didn't want to be considered familiar, but you really do want to be familiar. You just want to make sure that they understand that you are the authority and that you act as you are the authority. So I am 100% business professional, but I learned things that I would not ever learn about the organization, the people, the structure, who shot JR. You're going to learn all of that. But if you don't go, you won't know.
And it gives you a leg up, because whenever
we're doing a book club, they want to know if we're doing a book club. Let me say this: we might do a book club. We are in we're in a book club, and we're not at liberty to discuss the book club because it's a high level book club by
that's good enough.
It was yeah. So we're in a book club we can't discuss. Yeah, there you go.
Sounds like a secret society.
It is. It really is.
Right. So, but let me see. Right. So, let me tell you what I think about book clubs. And I'm not saying I wouldn't do a book club, but I had and the agents in my office know, but the one agent that's decided to have the book club was the one that was involved. Right. So we did a book club in my office on Secrets of a Millionaire Mind, Marki. I even have over there in the back, right there, and it says, "Rich people believe I create my life." Because we're talking about this, and I am not rich. But the clear thing about rich people is they believe that they create who they are. Poor people, they allow themselves to be told what to do for the rest of their lives. So we did this book club, and I'm telling you, I worked hard, because it's not your Secrets of a Millionaire Mind is not just a book. It's like a course, and you got to implement this stuff. And what I found is that people kept seeing me as an instructor, and I'm like, I can't. If y'all want to do a book club, y'all do it. I'll show up and I'm gonna sit and listen. I just feel like if you're gonna do a book club, you have to be intent. And when you have a Marki in the room, or me in the room, or instructors, you guys are looking for us to tell you what to do. And I need people to engage. And sometimes, what is it? My sister always talks about it too, Marki. You don't want to be the smartest person in the room. And if you are, because when I was in my master's program, I was like, Mina, I know just as much as this teacher, if not more. She was like, shut up and get the degree. Like, that's where you so the point is, if you really want to do a book club, you got to engage. Yeah. Anyway.
So we have a book club for my office that Nick Liebert set up, which a lot of several of the books we've read, we got through Nick, right? Now, these are just my low-level books. I
And
have
nobody can
stacks
see
of
them.
books.
You
Right.
pointing. But
You
you
can't
did.
see my book?
No,
Y'all
but
can't
I'm
see
gonna
it?
tell y'all. Look,
Oh,
this,
hold on. Here
let me
we
show
go.
y'all
We're
here.
gonna show
Look.
y'all. We're gonna show you
So
these
here's the new
books.
version, Marki. You know,
Yeah,
because
I'm gonna show y'all these books. You can't
my
tell
books
me.
are over there.
I can't out here. So these books right here, that's my low-level books, but I'm gonna take you all the way up. Let me see if it'll go up. I have another level of books, even above that shelf, right? There you go. You
I
can
see them.
start
I
seeing
see
them.
'em.
Woo, that was kind of hard to get it
How
up
you
there.
getting up there?
I have a step stool, Carrie.
You said you the shortest, darkest, brownest,
I have a
with the
step
least amount of
stool
hair. You see,
in
you
order
got
to get the books all the way up there.
so, and here's the thing is, I have a lot more books. Like yesterday, the book my sister had me buying is on my iPad somewhere. I don't even know the name of the book at the moment. But like, I have books, I have ebooks, I have audio books, I have books.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the ebooks and the audibles, okay? Because I got those as well. And I see you have the new version. A lot of
did.
people are buying that book.
You want me to
And
get? I got two. You need the other one?
I
I
have
just,
that book. I
I
have
got.
the 30-minute. I got it.
No, I mean I bought the new two.
Oh, you bought two of the new. What? Let me know if it's a real difference, and except for the cover.
I'm almost afraid to look. Oh, it looks pretty. Look, the content looks a whole lot. They
Upgraded the. Yeah, okay. So then I'll get a. No, you keep that for one of your agents. So Carrie, you know we've talked about everything up under the sun, but
So
it's good to
kind
have a morning conversation.
right.
So let's go back to the
recap.
beginning. Where you start is, I'm just gonna sum mine up. Where you start is it should not be where you end. And when people tell you you've changed, what I want you to do is change your language. A lot of times they say it and we become offended, even though we've worked on ourselves. So when people tell me now I've changed, I said, this is what I tell them. I said, you're absolutely right. I have. The problem is you haven't. So when they come, because they coming to sting you, right? They coming to let you know you ain't the same person. Well, you damn right. Between reading these books, self-help, a therapist, landmark forum, a therapist, you damn right I'm not the same. And if I am, then there's a problem. If I'm the same Marki going on 50 as I was at 20, that's the problem. So when people try to make you feel little because you have worked on yourself and you've changed, when they say you've changed, you claim it. You damn right. Thank you for noticing. The problem is you haven't.
Marki's willing to say that.
Because let me say it. I've never heard anyone tell me that I've changed. And to me, they said it sincere with a giving heart. Like, girl, look, I see you done did the damn thing. Woo, girl, you so much better. You didn't change. That is not how they saying it. It is always, now look at me and digest this. You know you didn't changed.
And here, we could go off on a tangent, but like I said, we could real easily have late night or early mornings, 7 a.m. mornings. That might be easier, Marki, for us. But the truth is that even when it comes to Black women, we don't promote ourselves. We don't help each other. We don't push each other. Like I said, this could go way off. So
we don't, except for me, which when the CEO of the Center for Realtors, Specialized Realtor Education, when I got the Reback Award, and he laughed because I sent out my own press release before the organization sent out theirs. But they sent me a template. So what I'm supposed to do with it, right? And he said, I apologized. And he said, Marki, you are the world's greatest marketer. I don't need you to market Marki. Marki gonna market Marki. And so I'm not waiting. And here's the bigger problem. I'm clear I'm the shortest, darkest, roundest person in the room with the least amount of hair.
Did y'all hear me say it? Did y'all hear me say it?
I am the shortest, darkest, roundest person with the least amount of hair and my own vernacular, okay? And if I'm waiting on others to promote me, I will forever be mad at other people. So I'm not waiting on you to shine your light on me. I'm going to shine my own light. And if I do something wrong, as I just told you, I told the man, I apologize. And the reason was because some national publication reached out and said, well, we already have a press release for Marki. Which one do we use? He said, never in the history of giving out the Read Back Hall of Fame has that ever happened before. Because look, the shortest, darkest, roundest girl ain't waiting
to promote.
You give me the award, I'm going to promote it all night and day.
So before we end, let me and before because I'm gonna bring up the memo. I'm gonna bring up the memo again. But before we end, the whole of course we did change intentionally, but the whole idea of everything you've learned from the time you were in grade school, high school, college, every job you had, you can integrate it into what you're doing. I got lucky enough to be in technology, and one of the best books I ever read was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, because there was a section in the book that said, Rich Dad, how come you don't teach? And it was his staff member that was running the grocery store, I think. How come you don't teach her how to be $1 million? And the one thing that really resonated with me was because she never asked. So I had to learn that if I want it bad enough, I have to figure it out, and I can't be afraid to ask questions. And I had to be a learner. And my sister, and I use this quote all the time, but my sister told me about Alvin Toffler, and he passed not too long ago. But the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those that can read or write. It will be those that cannot unlearn. I'm sure I don't have it right. Unlearn and relearn. So if you just go Google Alvin, the truth is right now we're in a pivot. Right now we're reinventing ourselves. They keep saying the new normal. And I just heard on this morning on the news that Twitter is allowing all of their employees to work from home forever.
You know what? Because they've realized the cost of having people there. And I'm honestly, I don't think you want to work from home. Working from home to me is disruptive, and they actually get more out of us. And I'm pretty sure these organizations, based on all of the tools and how they can measure things, they know they're getting more productivity out of us from working at home than what they were getting for us to drive. Think about the global, let's think about emissions. Let's think about life quality. Like, who wants to drive an hour to work, an hour home, emit what fuel fossils? Clearly I'm not green. And all of that. So we have reduced our carbon. They have a map. Like, the carbon footprint has been reduced drastically. What I definitely think, based on that, you're going to see a lot of vacant corporate facilities now that they realize we can work them like dogs from home.
How many? You said you've been working 12 hours. I now, and I had a funny conversation last night with Sheena and Sarah. But like, I got up this morning and I knew if I wanted to do what I wanted to do, I had to make breakfast because I had to get out of some things this morning. I'm just saying, Marki. And like and then yesterday before we went live, I'm cooking dinner. Like and then I have Jonathan that comes in here and he's like, Mom, I need you to buy this. I'm like, did you see the sign on the door that says my hours? Like, I need to go to the office just because I get more done and I'm more productive. So yeah. Or we need school to open back up. How about that?
Oh, learn, unlearn. I do think schools need to be open. I definitely think the children will go back to school. I think corporate America is going to change, and that we're going to see huge vacancies in corporate facilities because people realize the Twitters, the Facebook, all of these companies realize we can send our workforce home. If we hire good employees, they're going to work. That's what sums it up. If we hire right, they're going to work, and we can reduce the light bill, the gas bill, the cable bill. Like, do you know how much more money these freaking organizations can make if they make us work from home? That means gas is getting ready to be a problem because we're not going to buy as much gas. We're not going to need as much gas. I mean, I can just see there's a shift right?
I
And we're
think
getting
in
ready to
this
be
case,
worked like dogs from home. I just want you to know that. They're getting ready to work us like a dog. I make, and I had to do the math, so let me just do this again. Da 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 da. I make 6 times more money on the road than I'm making at home. 6 times more to get on a plane and to go, right? Now that means that, but I need to go back and break that down in hourly. I'm going to redo that math because I need to look at it as 24 hours, not the time that I'm actually just physically on stage because I am gone overnight. So I'm going to redo that math. But just hour to hour actual, yeah, 6 times more monies, but it might not really be 6 times. I'm going to look at that. So guess what? We got everybody's talking. They topping. Hey, Mina. Hey, Renee. Hey, Denise. Hey, Tina. Um, we've we've done our 30 minutes, Carrie.
right.
Just so you know,
Well, yeah, we had an hour.
we're at
Well,
an hour.
the morning, I'll tell you, I'm better in the morning no matter what. So
Yeah, yeah. Let's do. We should do mornings. Get up, get it done. We just got to get a little bit more focused after this week, because we are in our legislative meetings. I just remembered today that I have to do that video this
at 2:30,
afternoon.
right?
At what time?
Is it 2:30?
At 2:30. I'll hop online about 2 o'clock, and we'll go from there. And then I'm going to cook. I'm barbecuing today for
You have a
Skylar.
drive-by? You have
He's
a drive-by
24.
pickup?
Yep, he's drive-by pickup. They can come and get a rib. They can get salmon. I'm gonna put the little plate together. I already have my to-go containers for Skylar's 24th birthday.
I need a cell phone number. I'm sure he'll take a Zelle.
Oh, girl, please. Will he take a Zelle? Yes. All right, ladies. Good morning, Tina. Great to see you, Carrie. You anything you want to say in closing? Because we done
I
told a lot today.
What
Jeez
right.
Louise.
I want to say, if you haven't already joined Real Estate Live, join us in our group. I will post this video there, and then we will revisit the video conversation after, Marky. Maybe that could be the follow-up to what you did yesterday, tomorrow.
Yeah, we can do the follow-up tomorrow to the video conversation, and then yeah, because we're meeting tomorrow morning. Hopefully, let me say this: we weren't supposed to be on YouTube. We were supposed to be on Facebook. Facebook would not allow
Both
us to
of us tried.
stream from Zoom, and so we had to come with the next best option. So that's why we're over here.
Right.
All right, guys. I want y'all to have a great Wednesday. Happy
Right.
birthday to Skylar Monroe Lemons, my son who turns
Right.
24
Happy
today.
birthday. Wow.
And we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
All right.
So do you have to stop the recording, or do I? You have to stop the
Let
live.
me go up
You're
here.
live streaming.
Let's
We learned
do
some stuff, Mina. We learned some stuff.
We did. Talk to you guys later.